My name is Lawson Mallory, and today we have the pleasure of interviewing Maggie Furst for our series. So we wanted to ask you about first your life growing up before World War II. Where were you born?
I was born in Germany.
Okay. What was it like to live there back then?
Well, under Hitler, wasn't very pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, for Jews, it was very precarious. But we were very fortunate that we were able to get onto a kinder transport. That's where the children were transported to Great Britain.
Okay.
10,000 children. And my brother and I were fortunate enough to be able to go. Children were able to go 2 per family, and my mother was able to go too, as a domestic servant.
Where did you go to in Great Britain?
Okay, when we got to Great Britain, my mother had cousins who emigrated to London in the early 30s, and we were supposed to live with them. And he was bankrupt, so we were shipped out to families in Coventry. And Coventry was the first big city that the Luftwaffe bombed very heavily. I stayed with a Jewish family, and my brother stayed with a Christian family, and they were wonderful to him. And I was a cheap maid for the family that I lived with, and they were not very kind to me. The man was very abusive. And Bloomsbury House, which is a section of HIAS, which is a Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, they found me a boarding school in Hertfordshire. We were 36 girls. 2 of us were Jewish, and 2 of the girls were from the Spanish Civil War. They only taught until 14 and a half, so I had to leave.
Oh.
I went back to London, and I lived with my mother, and I started working for a dentist. That was an adventure.
Did you pull any teeth?
No. But, you know, we all had to cut everything off when it was time to leave. We left in April, beginning of April of 45, to Halifax, Nova Scotia. And from there we went to Montreal, New York, and I had to go back to school.
Okay.
And I thought I knew everything. Yeah, well, I met my husband in 1948, and he was a refugee child too. So we all came to Dallas. We ended up here in 63.
So coming up on April 29th, we've got our concert of music from the Holocaust. Pavel Haas, you mentioned him. One of his pieces that we're playing is actually based on some pieces of Chinese poetry that he set to music. And the theme of those pieces is a longing for home and for family and things left behind. Can you relate to that emotion?
Oh, yes, definitely. Not so much for what we left behind, but because we were not with our mother for 6 years.
Oh,
We were, the 3 of us were separated.
Oh, gosh.
And when we went to visit her, as soon as the train started to move, he started to cry. So I tried to comfort him, but I ended up crying with him all the way back. So, and most of the children's, the parents did not survive.
During the war, while you were still in England, were there any kind of musical performances by people who were sort of expatriates from Germany or that area that you could go to sort of feel more at home?
No. Well, I couldn't go anywhere. There was a war on. But I went on my own to listen to the music. And I taught myself more or less to go. And I try to encourage the children that come to the Holocaust Museum to take some interest, turn the radio on. The children in this country are so lucky that all the opportunities they have. You know, all those children in Syria and in Africa, and they're running around with our parents. And all those children in Mexico that are waiting to come into this country, why not? There's no need for any child to be lost.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, and thank you for letting us come here and interview you. I learned a lot, definitely, and I thought I knew some. So it was wonderful to meet you, and we hope to see you at our concert on April 29th.
I hope so. Well, that would be very nice.